If you've ever marveled at a dessert that holds its shape with a perfect, delicate wobble, or bitten into a chewy gummy bear, you've experienced the magic of a gelling agent. For decades, the undisputed king of this culinary magic has been gelatin. It's the secret behind countless classic treats, turning simple liquids into delightful, jiggly creations. But in kitchens and food blogs around the world, a challenger has emerged, gaining incredible popularity. It's called Agar Agar. Some hail it as the ultimate plant-based substitute for gelatin, a one-to-one swap that opens up a world of desserts to new diets. Others warn that it's a completely different ingredient with its own rules, textures, and unique traits. They say using it like gelatin is a recipe for disaster. So, what's the truth? When a recipe calls for a gelling agent, which one should you actually reach for? Today, we're putting agar agar and gelatin head-to-head to uncover the real differences. We'll explore their origins, how they work, and where they shine. By the end of this video, you'll not only know when to use agar and when to use gelatin, but you'll also understand exactly how to substitute them, troubleshoot common problems, and master the art of the perfect gel every single time. To understand the debate, we have to look at history. Gelatin isn't a modern invention. It has been a staple in kitchens for centuries. Its use dates back to medieval times, where chefs would boil animal bones and tissues for hours to create rich, jellied broths and elaborate aspics for royal banquets. In the Victorian era, it became the star of fancy, molded desserts. Today, it's the ingredient that gives so many familiar foods their signature texture. You'll find it in everything from chewy gummies and fluffy marshmallows to delicate panna cotta, and of course, classic jelly desserts. It's even used as a stabilizer in some yogurts and ice creams. But here's the crucial point. Gelatin is derived from animal collagen, a protein found in the skin, bones, and connective tissues of animals. For a growing number of people, this origin is a deal breaker. Individuals following vegetarian, vegan, or certain religious diets actively seek out alternatives to animal-derived products. This created a culinary need, a gap in the market for a gelling agent that could perform a similar function without the animal source. That's where Agar Agar enters the picture. As a powerful plant-based gelling agent, it became the go-to solution, sparking the very debate we're exploring today. Let's take a closer look at our first contender. Gelatin is a pure protein made by boiling animal parts, typically from cows and pigs, to extract their collagen. This extracted collagen is then filtered, purified, and dried into a flavorless, colorless substance. In stores, you'll most commonly find it in two forms, powder and sheets. Both work the same way but require a specific first step called blooming. Blooming means rehydrating the gelatin in a small amount of cold liquid for about 5 to 10 minutes. This softens the granules or sheets and ensures they will dissolve smoothly without lumps when added to your main, warmer liquid. Once bloomed, the gelatin is gently dissolved into a warm liquid, not boiling, and then chilled. As it cools, the protein strands weave together into a web that traps the liquid, forming a soft, tender, and elastic gel. A key characteristic is its melting point, which is around 95 degrees Fahrenheit or 35 degrees Celsius, just below human body temperature. This is why gelatin-based desserts feel like they melt in your mouth, creating a uniquely smooth and creamy mouthfeel. Now for our second contender. Agar Agar, also known as Kantan in Japan, is a world away from gelatin in its origin. It's a carbohydrate, not a protein, and it's extracted from a type of red seaweed. This makes it entirely plant-based, which is why it's a cornerstone of vegan and vegetarian dessert making. The seaweed is boiled, filtered, pressed, and dried to create the final product. You can find agar in several forms. The most common is powder, but it's also sold as flakes, bars, or strands. The powder is the most potent and easiest to measure accurately. Unlike gelatin, agar doesn't need to bloom in cold water. Instead, it must be dissolved in a liquid and then brought to a full, rolling boil for a couple of minutes to activate its gelling power. If you only simmer it, it won't set properly. Once boiled and then cooled, Agar forms a gel that is remarkably different from gelatin. It's much firmer, more brittle, and has a clean, crisp bite rather than a soft wobble. It also sets at a much higher temperature, around 104 degrees Fahrenheit, or 40 degrees Celsius, meaning it can firm up right on your countertop without refrigeration. This also gives it incredible heat stability, a point we'll come back to. Now for the direct comparison. The most significant difference between these two is texture. Gelatin creates a tender, elastic, and wobbly gel. It has a rich, creamy mouthfeel because it melts at body temperature. Think of the luxurious smoothness of a panna cotta or the satisfying chew of a gummy bear. Agar, on the other hand, creates a firm, brittle gel with a short texture. It doesn't wobble. It holds its shape rigidly. When you bite into it, it crumbles or snaps cleanly rather than feeling chewy or creamy. It doesn't melt in the mouth, which results in a less rich but incredibly refreshing texture, perfect for Asian-style fruit jellies or firm dessert layers. Next up, temperature stability. This is where agar has a clear advantage. An agar gel sets at room temperature and stays solid up to about 185 degrees Fahrenheit, or 85 degrees Celsius. This makes it fantastic for desserts that need to be served outdoors, on a buffet, or in warm climates. It won't weep or melt. Gelatin, which melts just below body temperature, is far more delicate. A gelatin dessert left out on a warm day will quickly turn back into a liquid puddle. In terms of appearance, both are mostly neutral. However, agar gels are typically clearer and more transparent than gelatin gels, which can sometimes have a slight yellowish tint or cloudiness. This makes agar ideal for showcasing suspended fruit or creating stunning glass-like desserts. And for dietary needs, the winner is clear. Gelatin is animal-based. Agar is 100% plant-based, making it the only choice for vegan, vegetarian, and many other restricted diets. So, which one is easier to work with? For many beginners, gelatin feels more forgiving. The process is straightforward. Bloom in cold water, then gently dissolve in warm liquid. The biggest mistake is boiling the gelatin, which can weaken its setting power. If your gelatin dessert is too soft, you likely either boiled it or didn't use enough. The fix is simple. Next time, use a bit more gelatin, or ensure your liquid is just warm, not boiling. Agar requires more precision. You must bring the liquid to a full boil and hold it there for a minute or two. Simply simmering is the most common mistake, and it will result in a soupy mess that never sets. Another issue is that agar sets very quickly as it cools. You have to work fast to pour it into your molds. The good news? If your agar gel doesn't set, you can simply bring the mixture back to a boil, cook it properly this time, and try again. It's surprisingly reheatable. This is the million-dollar question. Can you substitute one for the other? Yes, but absolutely not with a 1-to-1 ratio. Agar is much more powerful than gelatin. As a general rule of thumb, you need about 1/3 the amount of agar powder as you do gelatin powder. For example, if a recipe calls for 1 tablespoon of gelatin, you would start with 1 teaspoon of agar powder. Always check the packaging on your specific product, as potency can vary. You also need to consider other ingredients. Certain acidic fruits like pineapple, kiwi, and mango contain enzymes that break down gelatin's protein structure, preventing it from setting. You'd need to cook these fruits first to deactivate the enzymes. Agar, being a carbohydrate, is unaffected by these enzymes, making it a better choice for raw tropical fruit jellies. However, agar can be inhibited by highly acidic ingredients like lemon juice or vinegar, and you may need to use a little extra powder to compensate. Both can also be affected by high sugar or salt content, so always follow recipes closely. So after all that, which one should you use? The answer is, it depends entirely on your goal. They are not interchangeable ingredients. They are different tools for different jobs. Choose gelatin when you want that classic, nostalgic dessert experience. A soft, wobbly, melt-in-your-mouth texture. It is the champion for panna cotta, creamy mousses, marshmallows, and chewy gummies. Choose Agar Agar when you need a plant-based option, a firm and heat-stable gel, or a refreshing, clean texture. It excels in vegan jellies, firm custards, layered cakes, and for creating precise, artistic dessert elements that won't melt on a buffet table. The right choice isn't about which is better, but which is right for your specific recipe and your dietary needs. Understanding their unique properties is the key to unlocking a whole new level of dessert making. Now we want to hear from you. Which team are you on? Do you have a favorite recipe using either Agar Agar or gelatin? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. We read every single one. If you found this comparison helpful and want more clear, in-depth guides like this one, be sure to like this video, subscribe to Consumer's Choice, and share it with a friend who loves to cook or bake. We'll see you in the next comparison.